move on to the NFC Championship due to lackluster quarterback play. This year, Dak is back in Dallas with new expectations after signing a massive $160 million deal. Matthew Stafford is excited about the new opportunity in L.A., saying, quote, "I'm very excited about playing for this team." So, Bucky, who's under more pressure, Dak Prescott, Matthew Stafford?
Oh, Matthew Stafford is under more pressure. Matthew Stafford is the greatest who's never done it. When I talk about Matthew Stafford, we talk about and celebrate the talent, but we've never seen the result. And keep in mind, everyone has poo-pooed Jared Goff. But remember, the Rams went to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff. You can say a lot of things about Jared Goff, but they won a lot of games with him. And Matthew Stafford, I'm looking at a guy that only has 4 winning seasons on his resume, and he doesn't have any playoff wins. And so when we think about this, the next step for the Rams is winning the Super Bowl. Are we confident that Matthew Stafford knows how to win in that environment? We can celebrate Sean McVay for all of the things that he's done as an offensive whiz kid, but this is the most pressure that he and his quarterback have been under. Everyone is expecting this team to go from good to great because number 9 is in Hollywood. We'll see if Matthew Stafford is everything that we thought he was.
Yeah, man, it's on Matthew Stafford right here. I mean, look, he went to the microwave team. Like, all you got to do is put it in there real quick, 10 seconds. Beep, beep. It's supposed to come out. Hey, this is the NFC Championship team, if not Super Bowl appearing team once again. And I love the fact that you brought up Jared Goff, because the backdrop of this is Jared Goff, and they made the playoffs last year with one hand tied behind their back because Jared Goff was not the quarterback that they truly desired. And now, as you said, the greatest to never do it, Matthew Stafford comes in to save the day. Will he save the day? A lot of pressure. 1 year in La-La. This ain't Detroit, homeboy. In L.A., we going to see everything you do and everything about you. So he goes to a team in the Rams that had a tremendous defense last year. You could talk about them first in total defense, net yard per play, scoring defense, pass defense, blah, blah, blah. But let's talk about their record and their genius coach since he's been there. Second best record in the NFC, so no excuses. All of that, you had to leave that in Detroit when you packed to come to L.A. if you're Matthew Stafford. Second most playoff appearances in the NFC since 2017. Yo, the Rams are sitting there like we had one void to fill. And Matthew Stafford, you're supposed to be the guy that comes in here to fill it. He has the most regular season passing yards of any quarterback in NFL history without a playoff win. Now, everyone thought the reason was Detroit and their roster, especially lack of running game, etc. Well, if you don't come to L.A. and produce, it won't be a reason anymore. It'll be an excuse and an indictment on you, Matthew Stafford. Tons of pressure on you, brother.
I agree with you guys. There's a ton of pressure on Matthew Stafford because of all those reasons. But because you guys have heavily weighed in on that side, is Dak Prescott.
Oh, here you go.
Is Dak Prescott. He's on America's team. Need I say any more? He's coming off an injury. He got paid off of what he did previous years leading up to that injury. And the expectation is now that Dak Prescott's back, Mike McCarthy's going to look better as a head coach. This offense is going to thrive. We're going to overcome all the woes, even if the defense doesn't get to where we really need them to be in order for us to be successful. We look at the NFC East and what they were not able to do, we automatically attribute that to the missing of Dak Prescott not being present. And yes, very similar with the Rams and their quarterback saying, all we need is the quarterback. It's the same with the Dallas Cowboys. They're saying, Dak, we got our quarterback. Jerry Jones is putting literally $160 million on Dak, saying, this is my guy. This is who's going to get it done for us. This was the missing piece. Had they not had him, had he been in the lineup, Dallas, who knows what they would have been last year. That's the thought in Dallas. So the expectation, the weight is going to be on Dak Prescott. They have put in place the personnel around him for him to have tremendous amounts of success, regardless of what the defense does. And so that's why I say the pressure is most heavily on Dak Prescott down there wearing that star.
Okay, Greg, here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say pressure is a privilege. And it's a privilege for Dak Prescott because you know what Dak Prescott does every morning at about 6 o'clock? Because I do this mobile banking app. Every morning about I think that shows me what my balance is by account. And you know what feels really good if I'm Dak Prescott? When the balance says $100 million for this year, it ain't no pressure because all I got to do is go live. It's $100 million sitting in the bank. It ain't no pressure for Dak Prescott because guess what? They can't come and seize that out of the account because they wrote the check. So Dak Prescott, you've seen how easy and comfortable and relaxed he looked in workouts because he knows the pressure was the previous years when he hadn't gotten paid. But now that he's paid, he's playing free and careless because even if he sucks, the money's in the bank. But I think he's going to play well because we have seen him grow from a game manager to a playmaker. He has all the things around him that he wants. Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Zeke. The offensive line comes back with Tyron Smith and those guys. All he has to do is play. And we've seen him play. He plays at a high level. No pressure on him because he's already gotten paid.
Ooh.
Bucky, my friend. Come on. Marcellus, you've experienced some big contracts. Look, this fallacy of when guys get paid, they just lay down. That's not all the way true.
No, that's not true.
Specifically when we talk about a guy like Dak Prescott, it puts more on his plate. It puts more in his lap to, you know what? I got to prove that I was worth every single dime. I remember when I got paid for the Green Bay Packers, I didn't lay down. I didn't look so. Yes, I always look smooth in my route, but it wasn't because I had that bank account, I had that app, and I was looking at what was going in every day. It was because I was trying to get better every single time I was on the football field. And so it looked a little better. It seemed like I was kind of coasting a little bit, but I was really grinding. That's Dak Prescott. He's being smart right now. When you talk about, you see him in the practice, he's looking all comfortable. No, that's not comfort. That's just quiet calm right now. He knows the task at hand. He understands what is going to be asked of him once the season starts, once he straps on that helmet, and he is going to be ready. The pressure is real.
Stop it, Greg. You took what Bucky said and took it and misconstrued it, first of all. Let's talk about how once you get paid, there's pressure on you to live up to that money, but it ain't no pressure for real like the day before you got that damn money. Remember that day, Greg, before you signed that deal? That was pressure. How much? Did I get it? And which team? And that's pressure. Now, it's like the balloon is blowing up, and then finally you get that money. Now you're going to blow it up again, and because you're Greg. You're great. I've been there before. When I went to San Diego after I got paid, it was the dumbest decision I ever made. I got hurt in week 1, and everybody said, they were whispering to me, not yelling, hey, you know you just got paid. You good. You Gucci. They can't take it back. You got runway. But I went out there like Greg, the pressure to live up to the money, like Boo-Boo the Fool, and messed up my whole damn career. Here's the thing. If you look at these two situations, it's so obvious it's on Matthew Stafford. And look, Dak wants the ball, and Dak wants to finish a season like he didn't last year. I get all that. But Dak is on a non-playoff team. Not you, Matthew Stafford. That's a playoff team. So let's talk about the pressure if someone asks you to jump somewhere. Two things should come to mind first. How high? And second of all, where am I going to land, right? So growing up, 8, 9 years old, I used to be off Slauson looking for an apartment building or two to jump off the second, third story. I used to love to do it. But people always was like amazed that, damn, this dude climbing way up there just to jump off. They didn't know my first calculation is I'm landing on that grass right there or that mattress over there. I ain't landing on that concrete. But this is a situation where Matthew Stafford, if he jumps, he gonna land right there on a playoff team. And if this team underperforms, they're not gonna look at Aaron Donald. They're not going to look at all the other players. They're going to say, wait a minute. If Jared Goff got us to the playoffs and then we bring in somebody who's supposed to be better and he can't take us there, oh, that falls all on your lap, big dog.
It does fall all on the lap. And I know Greg is too busy in the gym making sure that he's watching his macros and micros, getting the curls in, making sure the body is tight. So he hasn't had an opportunity to see Dak Prescott in those sleep number commercials. He hasn't seen how comfortable Dak Prescott is after catching those large kicks. So there's no pressure on him. The reason why the pressure is on Matthew Stafford is because of this. The only way up, the only next step for the Rams is winning the Super Bowl. And we all know how hard and difficult it is to get to the Super Bowl. And so for Matthew Stafford, who has never been able to advance past the first game of the playoffs, to think about, I got to run the table and get to the Super Bowl, that's a tremendous amount of pressure. And for a guy who, I don't know if we can confidently say knows how to play winning football. When I talk about the 4 winning seasons that he's had under his watch, all of that doesn't fall under him. But when we think about quarterbacks, there's a lot to doing it, to getting your team to the winner's circle. And because he might not have enough experience in doing that, particularly at a high level, it's challenging. So there's a lot of pressure on Matthew Stafford. There's a lot more pressure, maybe even on Sean McVay, because he elected to move on from a quarterback who had got him to the promised land. We'll see if Matthew Stafford can get him beyond that point.
Yeah, moved on from Jared Goff and gave up assets to go out there and get Matthew Stafford. And no one in the last 3 years has had more turnovers than Jared Goff with 55. Why do I bring that up? They still made it to the Super Bowl, and they still made it to the playoffs last year. And they had a team with a quarterback that had one hand behind his back, it seemed like, when he was playing. And then you bring in Matthew Stafford, and Matthew Stafford, by all accounts, looks like a better quarterback. And you don't take us to the promised land? Oh, Matthew Stafford, you're going to wish you were Dak, sleeping on them comfortable beds. Coming up, LeBron knocked down one of the biggest shots of his life to knock